In the vast, dusty plains of the Wild West, a lone rancher named Jacob lived a solitary life. His weathered cabin stood against the horizon, surrounded by sprawling fields and grazing cattle. At 35, Jacob had grown tired of isolation, his only companions the wind and his loyal horse, Rusty. One evening, under a starlit sky, he decided to seek a companion through a mail-order bride service, hoping for a simple woman to share his rugged life. Jacob penned a letter, his rough hands trembling slightly as he wrote. He described his modest ranch, his need for a practical partner, and his desire for someone unpretentious. "I'm no fancy man," he wrote, "just a rancher needing help and company." He sent it off with a small fee, imagining a plain, hard-working woman who'd fit his quiet world. Days turned to weeks, and he waited, tending his land with growing anticipation. Meanwhile, in a bustling eastern city, a young woman named Eliza read Jacob's letter. Unlike the typical applicants, Eliza was strikingly beautiful, with cascading auburn hair and emerald eyes that turned heads wherever she went. Raised in luxury, she'd grown weary of shallow suitors and societal expectations. The idea of a simple life on a ranch intrigued her, a chance to escape her gilded cage and find true purpose. Eliza, at 28, had lost her family to a tragic fire, leaving her with a modest inheritance. She decided to respond to Jacob, seeing his letter as a doorway to a new beginning. Her reply was elegant yet sincere, hinting at her readiness to adapt. She packed a single suitcase, leaving behind silk gowns for sturdy dresses, her beauty a quiet secret she'd reveal only upon arrival. The train whistle blew as she embarked on her journey west. The journey was long and arduous, the train rattling through mountains and plains. Eliza gazed out the window, her reflection showing a mix of excitement and nervousness. She practiced simple tasks in her mind, milking cows, cooking over a fire, things she'd never done. Her beauty drew curious glances from fellow passengers, but she kept to herself, clutching a locket that held a miniature of her lost family. Back at the ranch, Jacob prepared for his bride's arrival. He repaired the sagging porch, swept the dusty floors, and even bought a new shirt from the general store. His heart raced with a blend of hope and doubt. He pictured a sturdy woman in a bonnet, someone who'd blend into his life unnoticed. Little did he know, fate had a surprise in store, one that would challenge his humble expectations. The day finally arrived. Jacob rode Rusty to the small train station in town, his hat pulled low against the sun. The train screeched to a halt, and passengers disembarked. Then he saw her, Eliza, stepping down, her auburn hair catching the light, her figure graceful despite the plain dress. His jaw dropped. This was no common bride. She was a vision, too beautiful for a man like him, he thought. Eliza spotted Jacob, his rugged face and hesitant stance marking him as her intended. She approached with a warm smile, extending a gloved hand. "I'm Eliza," she said softly, her voice like a melody. Jacob stammered, tipping his hat, unsure how to respond to her elegance. He muttered a greeting, his mind reeling. How could this radiant woman be here for him, a loner with calloused hands and a dusty life? They rode back to the ranch in awkward silence, Eliza on a borrowed horse, Jacob leading the way. The landscape stretched endlessly, and she marveled at its raw beauty. Jacob stole glances, each one confirming his disbelief. Her presence felt like a dream, a stark contrast to the rough-hewn reality of his world. He wondered if she'd flee once she saw the simplicity of his home. Arriving at the cabin, Eliza's eyes widened, but she hid her shock. The place was humble, wooden walls, a creaky roof, and sparse furnishings. Jacob apologized, scratching his neck. "It ain't much," he said. Eliza smiled, setting her suitcase down. "It's a fresh start," she replied, her optimism surprising him. Her beauty seemed to soften the cabin's edges, a light in the dim room. That first night, Jacob cooked a simple meal of beans and bread. Eliza watched, then offered to help, her hands unused to such tasks. She burned the bread slightly, and they laughed, a rare sound in Jacob's life. Her beauty was matched by a willingness to learn, and he felt a flicker of hope. Maybe this could work, he thought, despite the chasm between their worlds. Days turned to weeks, and Eliza adapted with surprising grace. She learned to milk the cows, her hands growing accustomed to the work. Jacob taught her to ride, her laughter ringing across the fields as Rusty trotted. Yet, her beauty remained a barrier, townsfolk whispered, and Jacob felt unworthy. He avoided her gaze, fearing she'd see his plainness too clearly. One evening, as they sat by the fire, Eliza spoke of her past. She revealed her wealthy upbringing, the fire that took her family, and her longing for authenticity. Jacob listened, his heart aching for her loss. Her vulnerability made her even more beautiful to him, a depth beyond her appearance. He shared his own story, years of solitude after losing his parents, binding them in shared grief. Their bond grew, but tension simmered. Jacob struggled with self-doubt, believing Eliza deserved better. She sensed his withdrawal, her heart sinking. One day, she confronted him, holding his hands. "I chose this life," she said, her eyes fierce. "Your heart is what drew me, not luxury." Her words pierced him, a truth he'd feared to accept. The town's gossip reached a peak when Eliza visited the general store. Men stared, women whispered, and Jacob overheard a cruel remark about her being too good for him. Furious, he stormed out, but Eliza followed, calming him with a touch. "Let them talk," she said. "We have each other." Her strength bolstered him, a beauty now rooted in courage. Seasons changed, and their life found rhythm. Eliza's garden bloomed, her hands now skilled with soil. Jacob marveled at her transformation, her beauty enhanced by hard work. They danced under the stars one night, her laughter blending with the crickets. Love bloomed quietly, a flower in the desert of his loner's heart. One autumn day, a letter arrived from Eliza's past, a suitor from the city, offering wealth and status. Jacob's fears resurfaced, his hands trembling as he handed it to her. Eliza read it, then tore it apart. "I belong here," she said, kissing him. His doubt melted, replaced by a fierce pride in their bond. Winter brought challenges, blizzards trapped them inside. They huddled by the fire, sharing stories and dreams. Eliza's beauty glowed in the firelight, but it was her warmth that kept them alive. Jacob carved her a wooden pendant, a symbol of their life together. She wore it proudly, her elegance now part of the ranch. Spring revived the land, and with it, their hopes. Eliza suggested a small wedding, inviting the townsfolk who'd judged them. Reluctantly, Jacob agreed, fearing their scrutiny. The day arrived, and to his surprise, the town embraced them, charmed by Eliza's grace and Jacob's steadfast love. The ceremony was simple: vows under a tree, flowers in Eliza's hair. Her beauty shone, but it was her smile for Jacob that captivated all. He felt a king, her hand in his, the loner transformed. The townsfolk cheered, their prejudice fading in the face of true love. Life settled into joy. Eliza's laughter filled the ranch, her beauty a constant marvel. Jacob grew confident, his love for her a shield against doubt. They built a new room, a symbol of their future. Each night, they watched the stars, a shared dream unfolding. One day, a traveling photographer visited, offering to capture their life. Eliza posed with Jacob, her radiance lighting the frame. The photo hung in the cabin, a testament to their journey. Jacob smiled, seeing not just her beauty, but their story etched in every line. Years passed, and children blessed their home, 2 boys with Eliza's eyes. The ranch thrived, a testament to their partnership. Jacob no longer felt unworthy, her love had made him whole. Her beauty aged gracefully, a mirror to his own growth. The town now spoke of them with pride, a love story etched in legend. Eliza's elegance blended with the land, her past a distant memory. Jacob, once a loner, was now a family man, his heart full. They faced storms together, their bond unbreakable. One evening, as they sat on the porch, Eliza rested her head on Jacob's shoulder. "I found more than a home," she whispered. He nodded, tears in his eyes. Her beauty had brought him life, but her heart had given him love. The stars winked above, witnesses to their tale. A festival came, and they danced again, older but joyful. The town celebrated them, the loner and his bride. Eliza's laughter rang, her beauty a legacy. Jacob held her close, grateful for the day she arrived, too beautiful yet perfectly his. As years deepened, their love remained a beacon. The ranch passed to their sons, a legacy of resilience. Eliza's auburn hair grayed, but her spirit shone. Jacob, now gray himself, saw her as his greatest treasure, beyond any luxury. On their final evening, they watched the sunset, hands clasped. Eliza smiled, her beauty eternal in his eyes. "We made it," she said. Jacob nodded, the loner who'd found love beyond his dreams. The ranch stood silent, holding their story as the stars took over.